Hey guys, have a really exciting Voljin game, and want to use this as a guide for how you can turn his hero power into some of the strongest exponential scaling in the game. Voljin's hero power is really interesting, where you get to select two minions, and for the next turn, they both get the combined attack of the two minions. And something that's kind of interesting with it, and where you get a lot of this exponential scaling, is you don't necessarily need to own the two minions. You can buff it with something in the shop, and you'll see in the early game we end up taking a really low attack, high health minion, and then we can just buff the attack by hero powering something in the shop and get a lot of tempo that way. Being a zero cost hero power, the way I like to play the early game is to try and aggressively level and use the hero power to save some health as I level up. Like I said, though, there's a lot of exponential scaling options that you should kind of know about while playing this hero that give you some kind of interesting ways that can really help you tempo out or secure yourself the win. The first way is with elementals, and that's using Sleeping Sea Glass. What you can do is buff the Sea Glass in the shop with whatever your highest attack minion is on your board or potentially in the shop, and make it so when you play the Sea Glass from your hand, if you double its attack, then the attack scaling that you'll be getting, that like buff from the Sea Glass itself will be permanent. You can also do similar effects like this Sea Glass buffing with Naga spellcrafts, but that's obviously a different strat. But the same thing kind of happens where it's like a temporary effect that you're able to make permanent with the Sea Glass's ability. The next way that's kind of similar is with mechs. What you can do is put your highest attack minion on a magnetic in the shop, buy the magnetic and play it, and that way you get an extra exponential scaling of doubling a minion's attack that way. And you can double it again if you play something like Beatboxer on the board to multiply that effect over a separate minion. Unfortunately, the stat buff itself is only temporary, but you can do a kind of similar effect with the Sea Glass if you combine it with the Demon Mirage Conjurer. So what you can do is, let's say you have like a 20 attack minion on your board and a magnetic in the shop. You play your hero power on the magnetic to make it 20-ish attack. You then Mirage Conjure it to 40 attack. You'll play the 40 attack magnetic on your board, and the next turn it won't have the full 40, but you'll get at least the 20 attack from the Mirage Conjure itself. And that's, I guess, another way that you can get exponential scaling using the Voljin hero power. The next way, and from here we start getting into more easier, like permanent exponential buffs. The next way is with demons, and kind of piggybacks on the Mirage Conjure is if you have enough shop consumes, what you can do is put your highest attack minion on a minion in the shop, and when you eat it, you've essentially doubled your attack. You've taken, let's say you have that 20 attack minion on your board again, you put that on a minion on the shop. If that 20 attack minion eats it, then you have 40 attack. Obviously, you're playing a little bit riskier here because you need to actually eat the minion, and if you don't have enough like shop eating, you might not get that minion. So the best way to use this is with like Fellbat, since you have the opportunity to eat more of the minions of the shop, but you can also do it with something like Dracari and the other consume effects. The final way, which is what we actually do in this video, is with dragons and the Emerald Dreamcatcher trinket. So what the Emerald Dreamcatcher trinket does is it makes it so at the start of the combat, all your dragons get the attack of your highest attack dragon. And what you can do is first you put your two highest attack dragons to combine their attack using your hero power. And then if you get a persistent poet, which is the dragon that makes it so minions adjacent to it get their effects in combat permanently, you'll end up making it so the minions adjacent to the poet get the attack buff permanently. And you can repeat the process where then you'll have two minions with the super high attack. You then use your hero power on them again, and you've gotten this loop of exponentially increasing your attack to make it so your highest dragon has like double the attack every turn, and then all the minions get that same attack, and you're exponentially scaling your board that way. The way that you can make this like even stronger is as you get into the late game, you can start taking out some of the more like individual dragons and start playing scammier dragons. The scammier dragons that you should kind of think about is something like Warpwing. You can play more poets Amber Guardian to make your other dragons have divine shields are gargoyles. Finally, a tech that you can kind of do in this game is if you have a minion that you're about to triple, you can buff both of the minions that you already have the 2 copies of next to the poet for a turn. So let's say you make it so they each have like 100 attack. You make it so they go to 200 attack. You then buy the triple, and then you've essentially given yourself an extra exponential scaling buff for free. So, anyways, that's some of the effects that you can kind of do with Voljin. He's a really fun hero, and hopefully these are some techs that you're able to use into your own games as you play. He's a really fun hero, and I absolutely love what they've done with him, and really the different options that you have to, do these exponential scaling effects. So, good luck on your guys' climbs. See y'all out there.
I don't
Bye.
really know what comes next. I'm just doing my best, even though I'm so stressed out. Everything just feels like a test that I fail, so depressed when I can't seem to get out.